Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, I think everyone's thought about this at least once or twice, but like, what does it really take to be successful, especially when it comes to building wealth?
It's definitely a question that people have been trying to figure out for centuries.
For sure. So to get some answers, we're going to look at some classic advice. Try to see it from different angles. We'll start with some excerpts from The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason.
Oh, yeah.
It's full of parables that have this timeless financial wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll jump into The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol.
Okay.
Now that one explores the power of belief and the subconscious mind and how those help you achieve goals.
Sounds a little woo-woo.
It might sound a little out there, but stick with us on this one.
Okay.
And then finally, we'll wrap up with The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy.
Right.
And that one dives even deeper into the mechanics of the subconscious mind and how to actually use it.
So we've got ancient Babylonian parables and modern psychology. I'm curious if there's a connection there. That's what I'm hoping we can figure out today.
Yeah, that's what we're here to uncover. Okay, let's get started with The Richest Man in Babylon. So this book really emphasizes that Babylon's wealth wasn't about, just luck or resources. It was all about how financially savvy the people were.
Yeah, it's like they all had this shared mindset for success. They understood certain principles and then applied them, and that led to this widespread prosperity.
Exactly. And these principles are surprisingly relevant even today. Like, Clayson highlights the idea of paying yourself first,
Mm-hmm.
saving at least 10% of everything you earn.
Right.
Imagine if everyone just applied that one principle. How would that change their financial future?
Yeah, it's so simple, yet so many people don't do it. It's about prioritizing your future self, I guess.
Absolutely. And Clayson also stresses the importance of budgeting,
Hmm.
making sure that you've got enough money to cover your needs and, enjoy life a little bit, but also still work towards your bigger goals.
Yeah.
It's like a roadmap for your money, right?
Yeah. He also advocates for putting those savings to work,
Yeah.
making that gold multiply through wise investments.
Yeah. And just like any financial advisor today, he suggests seeking advice from more experienced people before investing in anything that you don't fully understand.
Right.
But what I find captivating is how Clayson uses all these stories
Yeah.
to really bring these principles to life.
Mm-hmm.
There's this one about an ex-slave. It really stands out.
Really?
Who, despite starting with absolutely nothing, was really diligent about applying these financial principles.
Wow.
It's inspiring, right? Because
Yeah.
it shows that no matter where you start, you can achieve some level of financial stability and maybe even build wealth.
Right.
So through saving and budgeting and smart investing, he was able to clear all his debts and start building his own fortune.
Makes you think, if he could do it back then, imagine what's possible now with all the resources we have.
Absolutely. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's dive into the world of Claude Bristol and the magic of believing. I'll be honest, when I first saw this title, I was a little skeptical.
I get it. It sounds kind of mystical.
Yeah.
But if you really boil down his argument, it's that strong belief is the key to achieving any goal.
Right. And he has all these intriguing examples. Like, he talks about how he manifested Trappist cheese while on a ship.
What?
So he was really craving this specific cheese, but the steward was insistent that there wasn't any on board.
Wow, that's kind of hard to believe. So what happened? How did he manifest the cheese?
So he doesn't give up. He just keeps thinking about this cheese. And later that night, guess what he finds in his cabin?
A wheel of cheese.
A giant wheel of Trappist cheese. The steward, determined to satisfy Bristol's craving, searched the whole ship and found it. It was tucked away in an emergency storeroom.
Okay, I gotta admit that's a pretty good story. But
Yep.
how does he relate that to actually achieving success, especially in a practical area like money?
He introduces this concept of mental pictures.
Mm-hmm.
He argues that if you vividly visualize your goals, especially in a financial context, that can actually shape your reality. It's about imprinting your desired outcome onto your subconscious mind.
So it's more than just wishing for something. It's about creating a clear picture in your mind of what you want to achieve.
Exactly. And he even gives you techniques to actually do this, like the mirror technique. So you stand in front of the mirror and affirm your goals, but really visualize yourself achieving them, like you're programming your subconscious for success.
Interesting. It reminds me of how athletes visualize winning a race or something.
Right. And Bristol also has this fascinating observation about women.
Oh, really? Tell me more about that.
So he points out that despite controlling a lot of wealth, women often underestimate their own strength and potential. It's like he's challenging women to really embrace their power and believe in their ability to do great things.
Yeah, that's a message that still resonates today.
Hmm.
So we've got ancient Babylonian wisdom and this magic of believing. But I'm curious, how does modern psychology fit into all of this?
And that's where our third source comes in, Dr. Joseph Murphy and his book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, which takes us on a deep dive into, well, the subconscious mind.
Ah, this is where things get really interesting. So, Dr. Murphy's main idea is that the subconscious mind is this powerful force
Mhm.
that you can harness for success in any area of life, not just money.
Oh, so anything you want to achieve.
Exactly. He explains that the subconscious mind doesn't care about what's real and what we imagine.
Hmm.
It's going to respond to whatever we consistently impress upon it.
That's pretty powerful, but how does it work, practically?
Okay, well, so he distinguishes between the conscious and the subconscious mind.
Okay.
Conscious mind is the part of us that makes decisions, thinks logically, analyzes information.
Right.
But the subconscious mind operates more automatically.
So the subconscious is like running in the background, kind of influencing our thoughts and feelings and behaviors without us realizing it.
Yeah, exactly. And Dr. Murphy says that the subconscious mind is super susceptible to suggestion.
Hmm.
So if we can figure out how to consciously influence our subconscious, we can basically shape our reality.
So that might sound a little like mind control,
Right.
but I don't think Dr. Murphy is suggesting anything bad. He's talking about using things like affirmations and visualizations to reprogram our subconscious
Yeah.
with positive beliefs and thoughts.
He gives some pretty interesting examples. He talks about Caruso, the famous opera singer,
Oh, yeah.
and he used affirmations to overcome really bad stage fright.
Wow. So instead of letting the fear control him, he used his subconscious to get over it.
Exactly. And then he also discusses this woman who used affirmations and visualizations,
Hmm.
but she was trying to break this pattern of attracting the wrong partners.
Oh, wow.
And she was finally able to find love, the love she was looking for, by reprogramming those subconscious beliefs about relationships.
Okay, so it's not just about money or career success. It can impact our personal lives, too.
Absolutely. And to make it a bit more tangible, he also talks about the importance of autosuggestion.
What's that?
So it's basically the practice of constantly suggesting positive thoughts and beliefs to your subconscious mind.
Okay.
So instead of letting those negative thoughts and fears control us, we can choose to focus on what we want and believe we can get there.
So you're replacing a negative mental tape with a positive one, right?
Exactly. And he illustrates this point by telling a story about this young boy who was determined to become a doctor, but he had no resources.
Oh, wow. So what happened to him?
Well, he really took Dr. Murphy's advice to heart. And every night before going to sleep, he would really vividly imagine himself as a doctor,
Wow.
holding a diploma, working in a hospital. He really believed it. And guess what?
His dream came true.
It did.
Mhm.
He ended up meeting a doctor who was really impressed by his dedication and his knowledge, which he got through all that intense studying and visualization.
Wow.
And the doctor actually ended up mentoring him and sponsoring his medical education.
Wow, that's incredible. It just shows how powerful that focused desire and belief can be. But what about fear, though? That can be so crippling.
Yeah, well, Dr. Murphy actually spends a whole chapter talking about fear and how bad it is. And he says that most of our fears come from our imagination,
Okay.
those negative pictures that we create and replay in our minds.
So it's not even the outside circumstances, it's our own thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. And he says, you know what? You just got to face your fears.
Okay.
He even quotes Ralph Waldo Emerson. Do the thing you're afraid to do, and the death of fear is certain.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That sounds easier said than done. But, I guess the point is that you have to break free from those mental limitations, right?
Exactly. And kind of like breaking free from limitations, Dr. Murphy also talks about something a lot of people are afraid of, getting older.
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people worry about. But Dr. Murphy doesn't see it that way, right?
He has this really interesting way of looking at aging. He says that it's not a decline, but an evolution,
Oh.
like this ongoing process of growth and change. So instead of being afraid of getting older, we can look at it as a new chapter
Yeah.
with opportunities for learning and growth and even new adventures.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's about shifting your focus from limitations to possibilities. But going back to wealth and success, how does Dr. Murphy's approach connect with the principles from The Richest Man in Babylon?
Oh, that's a good question. So both sources emphasize how important it is to align your thoughts and your beliefs with your financial goals.
Okay.
Dr. Murphy just goes a bit deeper into the psychology of it all, explaining how our subconscious beliefs about money can either attract or repel wealth.
So it's not just about working hard and saving money, it's about having the right mindset about money.
Exactly. Dr. Murphy says that a lot of people have trouble with money because they have these negative subconscious beliefs about it. They might believe that money's evil or that they don't deserve wealth.
So it's like they're subconsciously sabotaging their own financial success.
Yeah, that's the idea, but how do we change those beliefs, right?
Right.
He suggests that we can reprogram them
Okay.
by using affirmations and visualizations and just genuinely believing in your ability to be abundant.
So you're consciously choosing to focus on abundance instead of scarcity.
Exactly. And this positive mindset doesn't stop at money. He talks a lot about the importance of radiating love and goodwill and wanting to serve others.
Mm-hmm.
He sees that as being super important for true success and happiness.
It's like recognizing that true wealth is more than just money, right?
Exactly.
It includes things like spiritual, emotional, and relational fulfillment.
Yeah. So how does all of this connect to the magic of believing we were talking about earlier?
Well, it seems like believing in yourself and believing in your ability to reach your goals is so important for using the power of your subconscious.
Absolutely. It's about developing a mindset of faith, expectancy, and truly believing in your potential.
So we've talked about ancient financial wisdom, the power of belief, how the subconscious mind works. We even talked about getting over fear and getting older.
Yeah. But there's one more really cool way the subconscious mind can be used,
Okay.
and we'll talk about that in the last part of our deep dive.
So we've covered a lot of ground already, from ancient financial wisdom to the power of belief to how the subconscious mind works. But I'm super curious about this last way you mentioned that the subconscious mind can be used. Like, what is it?
Yeah, it's about healing.
Hmm.
And how the subconscious mind is involved in that. And I know that might sound a little out there, but it's actually something that's fascinated people, for a really long time.
I can see why. It's a fascinating idea that our minds could actually influence our health. It's both really interesting and a little mysterious, honestly.
Mm.
What does Dr. Murphy say about this?
Well, he basically presents the subconscious mind as this like powerful force for healing. He shares tons of stories about people who healed themselves
Mhm.
from all kinds of different illnesses just through belief and prayer and autosuggestion.
He talks about this woman, right,
Yeah.
who was healed from this really bad illness after visiting the shrine at Lourdes.
Right. And he uses that story to kind of make this point. He says it wasn't the water at the shrine that actually healed her.
Okay.
It was her own subconscious mind responding to her belief. She really believed in a miracle and expected to be healed.
Wow. So the power to heal was inside her all along.
Exactly. That's what he's saying. He says the subconscious mind made the body so it can also heal it.
That's pretty powerful. So how do we, tap into this healing power?
He suggests all sorts of techniques, things like affirmations, visualizations, really cultivating a deep sense of faith.
Okay.
It's about conveying this idea of perfect health to the subconscious mind.
So you shift your mindset from illness to wellness.
Exactly. And he says it's also super important to let go of negative emotions
Yeah.
like fear, worry, resentment, anything that could block the flow of what he calls healing energy.
That's interesting. It kind of ties back to what Bristol was saying
Yeah,
about the power of believing in something good. It seems like both of them are saying our thoughts and beliefs have a huge impact on our well-being.
totally. Dr. Murphy just takes it a step further and explains how the subconscious mind is the key player in all of this. Remember, he says the subconscious can't tell the difference between what's real and what we imagine. It just reacts to what we focus on the most.
So if we're always thinking about being sick and being afraid, our subconscious might actually make those things happen in our body.
Yeah, that's what he suggests. But the good news is that the opposite is true too. So if we believe in our own ability to heal and we're constantly feeding our subconscious with positive affirmations and images of health and vitality, we can trigger this healing response from within.
That's like those mental pictures that Bristol talked about,
Yeah.
but applying to our physical health.
Exactly. You're using your imagination and your belief to impact your physical reality. Now, it's important to say that he's not telling people to ditch conventional medicine or anything.
Right, not replacing medical care with positive thinking.
Exactly. He says that medical treatment is still super important.
Yeah.
But a positive mindset can work alongside those treatments to make them more effective. He also points out that a lot of illnesses are psychosomatic, meaning they start or are influenced by our mental and emotional state.
So if we can deal with those underlying mental and emotional patterns, maybe we could prevent or even reverse those conditions.
Exactly. And this is where forgiveness becomes really important.
Okay.
Dr. Murphy has a whole chapter on this.
Yeah, I remember him saying that.
Yeah, so he sees holding on to resentment, anger, bitterness, all that stuff as a blockage in our energy field, which can then lead to physical and emotional problems.
Right. He's basically saying that forgiveness isn't about saying what someone did was okay. It's about freeing yourself from that negative energy from the past, making room for healing to happen.
Yeah. It's about understanding that we're all connected and that holding on to negativity towards others is ultimately only hurting ourselves.
It's a message of self-compassion and understanding, for sure. As we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all of this?
Well, we've explored a lot. Ancient financial wisdom, modern psychology of the subconscious mind. But really, the main message is that your mind is incredibly powerful.
Yeah,
It can shape your reality in ways you wouldn't believe.
right.
The things you believe in, the thoughts you focus on, the mental pictures you create, they all have a direct impact on everything. Your experiences, relationships, finances, even your health.
So basically, we need to pay attention to those mental patterns, challenge any limiting beliefs we have, and make a conscious choice to focus on what we want to create in our lives.
Exactly. If you can harness the power of your mind, you can really become the architect of your own destiny.
That's a great way to put it. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the power of the mind.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We hope you've learned something valuable and that you're ready to start using it in your own life.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep believing, and keep diving deep.